Okay, welcome back. You're watching Inside Politics. It's now time for one of my favorite segments, Your Call, where we get to hear from our viewers back at home as they give us their take on the issues we've been able to canvass so far. Allow me to start with our first caller. Peter is on the line calling from Westlands. Peter, good afternoon. Peter, can you hear me? Well, Peter, if you can hear me, kindly proceed. We've opened the lines. There we go, Peter. I can hear you loud and clear. Asante for your time. Continue.
Asante sana. I just want to talk about the order elections. I don't know why there is some noise, but I want to talk about the elections. And I want to say that I think UDA will really perform dismally when it comes to 2027 because, you know, Kenyans love new things. If you remember in 1992, hello? I think there's a problem.
Okay, apologies for that. We'll try and sort it out, but
There's a network problem, yeah.
sorry about that. But we got the gist of what you were raising in terms of the UDA party elections and the excitement that comes with new products, especially on the political scene. We'll raise that with Maliba a little bit later on. Let's try our next caller who's on the line as well. Sam is calling from Kitengela. Sam, I hope you can hear me clearly. Sam, good afternoon. Okay, small challenge there, and we'll try and sort it out, but we definitely appreciate your input, even as you call and give us your contributions on the socials. Speaking of the socials, one of our viewers says the untamed Office of Registrar of Political Parties has actually killed Kenya democracy and is dancing on its grave. It's just bad. ORPP has let Kenyans down for not being objective. That's one of the views right there shared on the X platform. Feel free to interact with us using the hashtag InsidePolitics. As we continue with the deliberations, I'd like to introduce one sentiment that was shared by the Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka on his reservations around the NADCO implementation. Remember, just last week, is that the High Court in Kiambu actually pronounced itself on the matter, suspending parts of the implementation of that particular report. The leaders from Azimio have read malice in this particular move and are pointing an accusing finger at the Kenya Kwanza government. Listen in.
Product which can at least help the country move forward. Tunaona jama za udanganyifu tena.
Do we want to tell the Kenya Kwanza government that if they will go on by whichever means to unilaterally form the next IEBC, that IEBC will not be a Kenyan IEBC. It will be a Kenya Kwanza IEBC.
Interesting. And before we get to our panelists, let's just go back to Sam, who's still on the line from Kitengela. I hope we can hear you loud and clearly, as you can hear us. Good afternoon. Sam, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Sam, kindly proceed.
Hello.
Hi, Sam. It seems the monkeys were hanging on the lines. We can hear you now.
I am from Jani.
Continue kindly, briefly.
Hello.
Yes, Sam. Kindly speak to us. Tunakupata vizuri.
Hello.
Okay. Definitely a challenge right there. We'll try and sort it out, but some apologies for that. We definitely cherish your feedback back at home. We'll sort out our lines. As I mentioned, the monkeys are hanging on the lines. Anyway, Okango.
Yes.
Kalonzo seems to be pointing out a couple of issues around NADCO implementation. Of course, The in-tray is with Parliament right now, but on the sidelines, there seems to be a couple of developments that seem to rub Azimio the wrong way. Why is this?
You know, Jesse, first of all, the document that was adopted by the bicameral House is a negotiated document. It's a document that the people of Kenya gave their views, stakeholders converged and gave their views on the recommendation that will be good to address the issues of concern to the people. And therefore, to that extent, it is only important that we fast-track that process. And any foul play will not be useful to the progress of the people of Kenya. So, while this matter has been taken to court and the Kiambu court made a decision suspending the implementation, particularly on those issues of audit, we also have to remind the people of Kenya that we know our problem as a country. Our problem as a country has been what Arnold was trying to tell us, that we have progressed in terms of fair elections. It has never been. Our biggest issue has been the issue of election. Now, in doing so, the committee recommended, particularly on the issue of electoral justice and related matters, and specifically on the audit of the process of the 2022 general election. The IEBC Commission is mandated by law to facilitate, number one, monitoring, observation, and evaluation. But you realize that all along, IEBC has been facilitating observation of election and monitoring. But rarely do they facilitate evaluation. While the provisions of the Constitution of Kenya, Article 88(4)H, provides for that. So it's on that basis that the people of Kenya recommended that within a year after every election, they must now facilitate evaluation. And the recommendation also gives the scope of evaluation. Okay. So if you want to look at it keenly, what were the rules or the electoral rules used in that election? What was the role of the media and civil society in that election? What was the role of ICT in conducting that election? What are the areas and the gaps that need to be addressed? And that is progress. So in our view, we believe that the sooner the members of parliament address this issue, the better for the people of Kenya. Number two, this issue came with a deadline of 21 days upon adoption. It has been adopted. I am happy that UDA, by extension Kenya Kwanza, have nominated their team that are going to participate in this audit. Azimio have nominated. So the issues that we are remaining, and I listened to the majority leader Kimani Ichung'wah, it was very clear that the report will be implemented as is, and the bills, the 9 of them that are before Parliament, I'm made to understand 4 of them have already been published, one of them being the one of IEBC. So we want to see that formation of panel in place. We want to see them moving forward, because the court has not stopped Parliament from looking into the issues of selection panel and related issues on that bill. We want to see Kenya having a panel of selection panel that's going to help us get the IEBC commissioners. We are late.
Yes, I just want to say this. And again, I mean, I don't want to annoy Arnold and say this is a young democracy, but this aspect of manipulating our institutions and manipulating your intellectual gift or capacity so as to achieve a negative end by pretending that the negative end is what we focus on and not the positive one. What I mean is when the ORPP, the Register of Political Parties, says that merely Kawera coming up in a scarf in a public forum, is not evidence enough that she has become a member of UDA. That is intellectual manipulation, 100%. Then NADCO, you can see Kalonzo Musyoka is complaining that looks like kuna kudanganyo hapa. In reality, if you go the route of what is legal and what is not, then you don't achieve the desired end of a community. If people are honest, ORPP would have gone, the register would have gone beyond and write a letter to Kawera and ask her that there is what is legitimate expectations of the public, and they saw you. And as a register of political parties, I would like to know expressly from you whether A, B, C. So Kenyans never go there, I will tell you, Jesse. Why? Because we are so smart. In fact, almost every Kenyan is a lawyer, I think you all know now, that we really work on the negative approach to our issues. And this is, we scatter around the negative. This is what is ailing us. That's why you hear Kalonzo saying, we want to take the country forward. So if we were to take the country forward, let the NADCO report be implemented without fear, without favor, without worrying that it may affect me or let it hurt you for the common good of the country in a few years to come.
Including an audit of the 2022.
Of course, if it hurts the president.
That's not flogging a dead horse. Anyway, Malema.
First of all, let's start from this particular point, that pessimists never build any society. We've come this far as the human race and even as a nation because of optimists. It took a few people who didn't know what technology is to believe that they could chase away a white man who actually was very advanced at that particular point. It is the optimists who see the things that can actually work. Wakili Nyaribo here has continuously gone to the attack line that we are a baby sort of a democracy. We are not. When with the international tools we are rated as a mid-range performing democracy, yet him here using his feelingometer, as in his sentinometer.
Right, or reply after that.
Because the scales upon which he's running with that is actually based on sentiments and feelings only. Look at this. I mentioned this, that number one, the four main tenets of a democracy, human rights and fundamental freedoms. We are doing very well. Ask anybody across the world. We might not be the best, but we are not anywhere the worst or even low performers. We are doing well. Number two, free and fair elections. Out of 1,882 positions that fell vacant, the only challenge we've always had is on two, the president and the deputy president. All others are deemed fair, and therefore, even if you were to actually do 2 over 1,882, okay. What percentage is that? That is actually 0. Something percent. Then, of course, we are a plural system. We allow multi-party democracy, and that any power that can actually work through that, we have got this current administration courtesy of that. And lastly, separation of powers and independence of those particular powers. That works out very well. Allow me to respond very fast to the guy from Westlands. You know, the politics of newness, rebranding and everything else is the politics of using filters. Because there's nothing new about Raila Odinga. He's the same person who has been there since 1997 when he ran for the president for the first time. So whether he shows up with Rainbow, ODM, the Pentagon, and then Code, and then it is the same person, just applying filters. That is the politics of conmanship. From where we come from, this newness, where you just have, this is Jesse, we give him new clothes and we brand him up, and then that politics of newness is what we are trying to do away with. We want a politics that is anchored in institutions, and the institution that is actually given the power in the constitution to grow that in democracy is the party. So we are moving away from that. William Ruto feels and firmly believes in this, that he will show up with the people of, he will show up on UDA and tell the people of Kenya, I came under the Hustler promise on UDA and asked you for this and I promised this. Right. This is what I have done. Right. And based on the same, can I finish kindly? And based on the same, he will want to be elected. So
you don't have time.
We have.
You don't have time.
These guys have
right of reply.
I know. You're teaching me my job.
Then finally, Jesse, on Okango.
Okay.
Okango has been speaking fluently for Azimio. Okango happens to belong to a party called KANU. The last election, grassroots election KANU did was 40 years ago. So even as he speaks fluently for Azimio, can he also tell the die-hard KANU supporters in the villages?
Let's give them a chance of reply now.
Right of reply,
yes. No problem.
Now, I know this time now it means we close the show.
Yeah, quite briefly.
My brother Arno did not respond to the real attack I made, but went around it, no problem.
There was no attack.
Look at, no, I attacked the fact that we are a young democracy. And I want to repeat this. You see, Arnold keeps saying there are some guys seated in Europe and some US or somewhere who are grading Kenya. and they are always telling them, now you are doing good. Now this IMF, now loan now is paid. Now this thing. These are not your friends, my friend.
We are a Commonwealth of Nations.
Even if it's a Commonwealth of Nations, Arnold, we must have a thermometer in the country. Here in Kenya, I don't care.
Let's give him time. Let's give him time. We don't have time.
I don't care who
instruments.
I don't care who has set standards for you to tell you now you are doing good. I am worried about the mama mboga in the street being carried up on the air by the city council as carried, and that is abuse.
No public participation.
No, but that is abuse of human rights, Arnold.
Which way?
In Kenya, when you beat women and you carry them into
who has beaten
we
women?
are now digressing. Let's
my point, Jesse.
Yes.
Our democracy can only grow if the leaders in position do not manipulate.
Well noted.
Including this concept of saying that we have grown because some people have been off office. We have not.
Jesse,
we are doing fine.
Arnold Maliba has told us consistently on this show that we are a mid-range performing democracy. I am sure Arnold Maliba would not have spoken that way if Arnold Maliba was not in government today. In fact,
I have said
as a
that
critic and a friend that I've known,
about
today he would be criticizing William Ruto to the extent that no one has ever seen. Number two,
he
has said, UDA, as a UDA rep, he has said that Raila Odinga remains Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga remains Raila Odinga, where they move from code, whatever. Do you know that William Ruto, his boss, is the only person in Kenya that has moved parties more than any other person, from KANU, ODM, URP, all these Jubilee to now UDA.
We have to finish.
Let me just finish.
Our time is up.
There's a right of reply.
We are going to next week.
Okay.
He is saying that they perform. We have doctor strike.
All right.
William Ruto has not responded. And they promise in their manifesto that they will ensure that they employ over 20,000 health workers. Today, Nakumencha, their cabinet secretaries, is not listening to the doctors.
Under fire.
As Azimio, we are saying the cabinet...
Let's finish on that particular note.
Gentlemen,
let's not have a shouting contest.
No, it's not a shouting
Yeah, we just have to follow the rules. And the rules are our time is up, unfortunately. So that's how we finish up. I'm sorry. That burning point will have to wait. Arnold Maliba, thank you so much for your time. We'll definitely invite you again. Frederick Okango, asante sana for your time. We gave you time, surely. Equally, Ishmael Nyaribo, asante sana for your time. That's how we wrap up today's edition of Inside Politics. Next time, we'll make sure we get your feedback back at home as we sort out the monkeys that are hanging on our lines. Thank you so much for watching. Have yourself a wonderful afternoon. I'm Jesse Burgess.